Hi y'all, I'm Allison. Just Bennett is back to normal and ready to pick out books for March. We're going to do things a little bit differently today. I'm going to be spinning for myself and Christina Thompson, and we're hoping for a total of 8 spins. 2 of those will be for me, and the other 6 will be for Christina. So I'm going to be cutting down on my Just Spin It for the month because I will also be doing Completely Melanie's Season-a-thon Spring Bingo Board. And I'm trying to catch up with G from Book Roast for the Aurelium that's coming up in April. So I've got extras that I'm going to be throwing on. And I forgot, we will be bringing back The Sims this month. So keep an eye out for that. Anyway, let's get right to it. I need 2 books. So we're going to spin twice for me first, and then we'll move on to Christina. Let's see what I get. $19. I feel like we haven't had that number in I don't know how long. Way over here. I hope it's a good one. Next in series. I've got so many series going, but I know immediately what I want. Because who else has been doing this with me? But I have been watching. Do you have a guess? Lockwood and Co. So I think I'm like 3 episodes in, and it's making me want to read this series so badly. So I am on book 4, The Creeping Shadow, and I am going to happily dive into this. Even though it's kind of thick, I know I'm going to breeze through it because these are so good. If you haven't read Lockwood & Co., grab it. If you haven't watched the Netflix adaptation, watch it. They've done a really good job. I'm really happy with it so far. So, my first book, it's looking good. Nice and decisive. Okay, we've got another purple random word. Those are fun. Okay, my hopefully last spin. This is going to be so weird. Thought I was going to get the star. 18. Okay. Right next door, and we get TBR Zebra. This is my unread vets. Let me find it. Oh, I grabbed it by the lid and it went. Thankfully, all of these pieces of paper didn't go flying across the room. That would have been a mess. I haven't cleaned this out yet, so hopefully I won't just grab something that I've already read. If I do, I'll just go again. Okay, so I'm just going to piece of paper to remind me what's in here. Got a lot of unread vets, but I think each series title is individually written down. Okay, we've got something good, I hope. Much Ado About Nothing, which is Shakespeare. I believe I've read this. Let me check. I have read that. That's one of my favorites. I thought I've read the play, but okay, so we're going to try again. Okay, if I get another one that I've already read, I'm just going to cut until we find one that I haven't, because this could take a while. But hopefully the second one will be the winner. U is for Undertow. That is way deep in the Kinsey Milhone series by Sue Grafton. Alphabet ones. So I am actually on B is for Burglar. So I will be reading that series I loved back when it came out in the 90s somewhere. And I get really nostalgic reading it because they're back to payphones and the whole gamut before the internet. So Kinsey is a private investigator, and her landlord is a senior citizen, Henry. I think it's been a while. Anyway, I'll be reading part 2 in that series. So, okay, that's a good starting point for me. Let's move on to Christina's. I will be making recommendations from my library and from hers. So we'll be picking out 2 books for every prompt. But Christina is going to need a full board, so let's replace that with Dalton Pick, my son. All right, Christina, are you ready for your first spin? $22. By the way, we are setting Christina's TBR for March and April, so she's going to have 2 months to get through this list. Okay, number 22, Lacey Pick. This is going to be tricky because my daughter is at work, so she can't pick for you. So I am going to put this back in my thing, and we're just going to randomly pick a prompt. So this is just going to go in my unused there. And we're going to take the front one, and we get a cozy mystery. I think you like these. I haven't read it yet, but I'm excited to, and I'm hoping to get to it soon. And it's 2 parts sugar, 1 part murder by Valerie Burns. Maddie learns that she is inheriting her great aunt's house and bakery in Michigan. Catches she has to run this bakery for a year and live in the house, and it comes with a 250-pound English Mastiff. She doesn't bake. Her Louis Vuittons are made for walking large dogs in Michigan, but the locals are friendly and the scenery is beautiful. The only problem is there's a murderer on the loose. By the way, for anybody who is unsure, cozy mystery means that there is no blood or violence in it. They just discover a body, that kind of stuff. All right, so let's see what's in your library. Part 2 of The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So you loved part 1 as much as I did, which was obviously The Inheritance Games, which is right here. It is just as good as the first one. Without giving anything away, Avery is still trying to figure out why a billionaire singled her out to inherit the family fortune. Read part 2, The Hawthorne Legacy. I bet you love it. By the way, cozies are like one of my favorite things to read. Okay, we're going to replace that with Bullseyes. These are Bullseye. These are books that I'm potentially going to be unhauling. Lily. Let me see if I can swap out our toy for one that doesn't squeak. Can you play with this one instead? Can I have it? I'll give it back. I'm so mean. Okay. She'll get it back as soon as we're done. Let's give it a spin and find out your second book. $19. We're just stuck right there. Lily says hello. Let me see if I can tilt this. Lily, what do you got? She says it won't squeak, Mama. I'm not happy. Yes, I know. Okay. All right, let's find out what number 19 is. It's down here, so we don't have to move the camera. Yes, I know. Ow, she stepped on my toe. I know. Give me just a little bit. We may have to take a break. Random word. Over to the computer. Okay, I think she's okay. For our random word, we got liberty. You know, this was a little tricky. I immediately went to Founding Fathers, American history, historical fiction, that road, but I know that's not necessarily your cup of tea, so I found some other ways to interpret it. And from my library, and I believe this is actually in yours too, I'm going to recommend The Maze Runner by James Dashner. This, I'm sure everybody is familiar with. 2009. This took everybody by storm. It is so good. Dystopian. And if y'all are not aware, they brought out The Maze Cutter, same author, and we're revisiting this world, these characters, like 20 years after the series ended. I haven't gotten to this yet. I want to go back and reread. Our main guy, Thomas, wakes up in a lift, an elevator. All he remembers is his first name. He wakes up surrounded by other kids in the glade. He doesn't know how he got there or anything else. He just knows that they are enclosed by walls, and these walls open up, beginning of the day, and they've got to run through a maze, and then they close again at the end. So they definitely want their liberty. They want their freedom from this maze. They have no idea why it's there. Such a good book. So, The Maze Runner. From your library, I found The Girl in the Castle by James Patterson, about a girl that is caught between two worlds and the truth that could set her free, liberty, or trap her forever. It looks like we're going to have two timelines, the present and 1347. Hannah is in a psych ward, and all she knows is she has to go back in time to save her sister. And it looks like a psych student may be her key to getting out so she can go back in time. But in 1347, Hannah and her village are starving to death in a brutal winter, and she is trapped in a castle, and she must get out. Again, freedom. All right, let's replace that. And we get collected works. Uh-oh. These are like a big anthology, or like one of the bind-ups of a big, an author's whole work. Okay, let's see if we can get away from this side of the board. Are you ready for your third spin? Here we go. Three. And it is a special edition. Ooh. I'm going to go with The Wizard of Oz. I have this beautiful little special edition from Barnes & Noble. I think it was like $10. Because if you've never read The Wizard of Oz, I think everybody should give it a read. It is drastically different from the Judy Garland movie, and I really enjoyed it. And I would say Wizard of Oz, while I've got childhood ties to it, it was never really a favorite of mine, and I really loved the book. So if you haven't read The Wizard of Oz and you want kind of an endearing classic, then I'm going to say pick this up. I was able to find a collector's edition. We have Moreira, Beginnings of the Remnant Universe, illustrated and expanded edition. So this is a prequel, The Remnant Universe. I'm not familiar with this one. It's by Mary E. Pearson, and apparently it's a best-selling. So it was before borders were drawn, treaties were signed, and wars were waged, before the great kingdoms of the remnant were even born, and the world of old was only a hazy slate of memory, told in story and legend. A girl and her family fought to survive, and the girl's name was Moreira. So this is a prequel to the series. So there we go. Collector's edition. Yay, and it's gorgeous. Okay, let's replace that with adaptation. Okay, Christina, we're up to your fourth spin already. Ready? Number 12. Ivanovich. I don't know if you've read the Stephanie Plum series, but I love it. I love Stephanie Plum. The first one is One for the Money. And she is up in New Jersey. She has a hamster. She was a lingerie buyer for a department store, but she lost her job. So she goes to her cousin, Vinny, who runs a bail bondsman's office. And she decides to become a bounty hunter. The comedy in these are over the top. The first one is, it can get kind of hard hitting. Surprisingly, it might be a little triggering, so you might want to look that up. But I love this series, and the characters all throughout, especially Stephanie's grandmother. I'm sure you've heard of Stephanie Plum. If not, then look into One for the Money. If that doesn't look like one that appeals to you, she does have another one that I haven't gotten to yet, and it's The Recovery Agent. My mother has borrowed this from me twice already and read it. Okay, this time we have Gabriella Rose. She's a recovery agent, so if you've lost something, you can contact her, and she will find it and get it back. And it's supposed to be more, I guess, Tense, suspenseful, wild, funny, and wise. So we're supposed to keep up the humor in this, but also have really good stories along with it in different cases. This one, she's sets off for the jungles of Peru in pursuit of the Seal of Solomon and the lost treasure of Lima. All right, you don't have any by Janet Ivanovich, which is what I was expecting. So what I did, since that she's on my board because I have like a whole shelf full of books for her, I reorganized her books by author and looked for someone who just really was taking it over. And I found one. We got Lisa Jewell. You've got a lot of her books in your to be read list. So this is a thriller, obviously. And the less we know, the better. So I'm just going to say Libby uncovers the dark, twisty secrets of her family's past. It's the family upstairs. I heard about this one first from Leanne at Literary Diversions, and I've been wanting to read it. So it's on your list. All right, let's replace that with 4 or more colors on the cover. I don't think I've mentioned it yet, but if all goes according to plan, next month we're going to have another special theme board. So if you haven't already and you're enjoying this, be sure and subscribe to keep an eye out for it. Okay, let's go. Number 6. Cute pink one. 5-star prediction. Not going to know what you predict for a 5-star, but I will look through your list and see if any of my predictions are in there. Let me check my list and see what I can come up with for you. Here's a sneak peek at my 2023 reading journal. That video should be coming soon. I filmed it, I just have to edit. So let me see what's on here that is not part of a series. There is one that's a new one. Okay, so I have 5 Survive by Holly Jackson. She wrote The Good Girl's Guide to Murder, and I believe this one is going to be a standalone. We have 8 hours, 6 friends, and 5 survive. So Red Kenny goes on a road trip for a spring break, and their RV breaks down in the middle of nowhere with no cell service. Because of course, they've been trapped out there somewhere in the darkness by someone who wants them dead. They have 8 hours until dawn, and the 6 friends must escape or figure out which of them is the target. But is there a liar among them? Not all of them will survive the night. Yeah, this is definitely a 5-star for me. I love her writing. So there's mine. Okay, I found 2 5-star predictions that I would make from your list of books. The first one is, we both have it again, Blood of Troy by Claire M. Andrews. This is the sequel to Daughter of Sparta, which is a retelling of the Daphne myth combined with Sparta. Daphne is back again. She goes on a quest in the first one, and she is the one leading the quest instead of a supporting figure. So this is kind of a reimagining from a female perspective. It's really good. So I expect great things from part 2, Blood of Troy. As an extra one, I'm going to also say Craven Manor by Darcy Coates. I've read one of her books and loved it. This is another haunted house, paranormal, ghosts, and again, the less you know, the better, other than horror. I expect it's going to be really atmospheric and scary with just the right amount of cringe. So there's my 2 5-star predictions from your books. You know, if you've got a 5-star list, pull something off of that. Okay, let's go ahead and replace that with horror. I think this might be your last one, Christina. It is, unless we get a star. Uh-oh. I have to use the brain. That is 7 and 8. It's right in the middle. Hopefully this will be one that we can combo. 7, we have A Chunky Monkey, over 700 pages. I love you, Christina. And that starts the series. Okay, so deep dive into a series. The good thing is you do have 2 months to complete this list. So let me see that I have anything that starts off that expansive. I think Sanderson's books. My son has the first one. I don't have it, but... So could do The Outlander by Diana... I forget. That was really good. And I know that's on my Nook. Historical fiction, time travel. A nurse in the 40s. She's in Scotland and stumbles across a magical, like, glen, a ring of stones. And she's transported back in time in Scotland. And romance, really good. A little hard-hitting at times, but I really enjoyed it. Okay, you actually, brave little thing that you are, you have quite a few series that start out with some hefty tomes. So I'm just going to list the ones that I found. The Way of the Kings by Brandon Sanderson. And this is sci-fi, I believe. And we also have Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood by Sarah J. Maas. I haven't read this one and I don't know much about it, but it has definitely made its way around YouTube. We also have the first book in the Wheel of Time series, which is Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. This one, the series is on my radar, but I don't expect to get to it anytime soon. So, if you've been looking for a nudge to start any of those, consider, I'm over here going, go for it. So you can pick any of those if you like. Okay, Christina, I hope you're happy with your choices. I tried to give you a nice mix of fantasy and thrillers and mysteries. So hopefully you'll have some in there that you're really excited to read. Be sure and let us know what you end up picking and have a great reading time over the next 2 months. Now, I will be back in just a couple of days, hopefully, with the rest of my TBR for the month, at least set from my games. And we'll be playing the Sims TBR game. It's been a long time, so I'm excited for it and a little afraid that they might, retaliate from being ignored for 2 months. So anyway, I hope to see y'all there and have a great one. Bye now.